What we're going to take a look at right now is a walkthrough of the newsletter creation feature using the Soundboard content. There is a separate video in place to help you import your contacts. So if you're struggling with that or having trouble, be sure to take a look at that separate video. For now, we're going to take a look at the newsletter creation feature as well as a couple of new sections and features that we've added recently. So when you're on the Soundboard, you're going to click on the 3 lines at the top right. I'm going to click Newsletters. I'm going to go ahead and create a new one here. Now, again, this is going to be from your separate video, but you're going to be able to have a lot of different lists here. You can break people into lists by topic or just by dumping them all into one list. So for now, I've picked a list that I've created separately in the Contact Lists button. We want to have the newsletter come from somebody. So in this case, we're going to have it come from my company. And I want to have it come from a specific email address. So if they reply to it, I'll get that. Then we have the title. So this is going to serve 2 purposes. It's going to be at the top of the email as well as the title, the subject line of the email. So let's have something along the lines of Healthy Living News. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Now you can have an image dropped in one of 2 ways. Of course, you can just find an image that you have. If you have a logo or you want to put a picture of yourself, something like that, you can just hit this and it'll bring up the image uploader. So this is one I want to use. So it'll upload it quickly. So there we go, social media soundboard graphic. Or you could drop in a link if you have that saved somewhere. Now, and this may be new to you, we've got a rich text editor in place. So we've got 2 fields here where we're going to be able to have some sample text or text that you can personalize above the articles that compose the body of the newsletter as well as below the articles that compose the newsletter. So let's go ahead and put something in here. Now there's a couple things you can do to them, of course. You can do your bold and italics here. And then we also have a title size if you want to use that. This button here, let's do this. Click here for more info. When you highlight text and you push this button, you can drop in a URL. So we're going to drop in healthylivingsoundboard.com to make that a live link. So now it's a clickable link here. Now this is an undo and a redo button. Now if you want to, you can now add some bulleted lists as well. So you can, just doing this for sample purposes, of course. But then these things allow you to adjust it if you want to. Okay, so just nice that you've got the options now here to customize your text a little bit and make it a little more presentable. So I'll go ahead and put some sample text here and show you where this is going to show up in the email after you create the email itself. All right, we'll go ahead and do an italics here. All right, so let's create. So now it brings us to this screen that you may think, wait, I was just here. But what it's done now is it's saved the initial setup and it's put us on this breadcrumb trail that we can revisit any of these things at any point to readjust them before the email goes out. Okay, so here is everything that we've set up so far. Now let's click over to the articles section. So the articles is where you go through the Soundboard content and you pick something that is relevant to your audience. Okay, so we do have a search up here, or you can just scroll through the content that's on the soundboard. So this one was a particularly interesting one, especially since we're in a season of athleticism with the Olympics. So we've added this to the newsletter. Now, you saw what happened here. If you click on anywhere on the article except for this button, it's going to actually bring you to the article preview where you can check it out. All right, if you like it, you can add it to the newsletter. Or if it's something that you've previewed in the past and you know you want to add it, you can just click add, and it immediately will bring it over here to the right. Now I'm just going to grab a few more here. Okay, so now we've got 5 articles here on the soundboard. So let's preview and send. And that's going to bring us to this screen where we're going to be able to see everything that's going on with our newsletter, all right? So first of all, we have a couple of different themes. This first one is called Picasso Full Size. So you can see here's our graphic that we imported. Here's our title. Here's our text that we put in above the body of the articles. So again, here's that clickable link. We've got our articles. Now with the Picasso Full Size, each of these articles is going to be the same size. It's going to have the tagline from the article, the graphic, and the title. And then when your recipient receives this article, they can click here to be taken to the website and read the whole thing. Now at the bottom, here's the sample text that we put in the sample field. So this is the Picasso theme. We can switch this to the Mondrian, which is the 2 columns. Same thing, these initial things are going to be the same. Our first article is always going to be nice and big, and then it does a side-by-side of the rest of your articles. Okay, so that's the 2-column view. You can now switch this to the Warhol view, which does, the first article is going to be big, again. Then we do a left, right, left on the graphics. And then if you have a bunch more, it will turn them into text, okay? But we just had a few more. So now that you've picked the thing that you want, you can send a test email to yourself. So pop this up and you can send an email to yourself so that you can get a sense of what it's going to look like. And then when you're ready to send it, go ahead and click send. You're going to get a pop-up. It's going to remind you which list of people you're sending it to and how many recipients are on that list, the email address that it's going to come from, and the subject line. And this is the subject line of the email, which you can change at this point if you want it different from the title. Now we're going to click send. It's going to take a few moments to queue it up, okay? And then it's going to start sending it out. Now, of course, it's not going to go immediately. It's going to hit our servers, and it's going to start in a queue. And then it's going to begin to deliver. Okay, now after it has delivered, you're going to be able to revisit emails that you have sent. And let's see if we can find one that's got an example. And then you can come back to it and click metrics. All of your previously sent emails are going to have a metrics list to it. And it's going to tell you, this was a test one, just went to one person. But it's going to tell you line by line for every email address. Did it make it to their inbox? That's what delivered means. Was it dropped along the way? Did it bounce? Meaning, did they have a bad email address here? Did their email folder mark it as spam? Did they open it? And did they click on an article in there? So we're going to run these metrics on every single newsletter that you publish, okay? So again, you can revisit old ones by going back to your newsletters button, and these are all the ones that sent and when they sent it. Now, if you've got an email in draft state, those will be here below the sent ones. So check those out. I hope that's been helpful.